video is part of the Christmas Gift Ideas collaboration. A group of us creators got together to share some of our Christmas gift ideas. My ideas are to use Dollar Tree house shapes. So idea number 1, I call it House Mom. You can personalize it however you want. Even use somebody's name or number 1 dad or something like that. I'm using these letters that I got from the Dollarama when I was visiting my mom in Canada. Dollar Tree has similar letters like this. I think theirs are a little wider. You can also use stickers, or Amazon has wood letters as well. So I picked out my letters, and then I had this little bouquet I got from Temu, and I'm just cutting off little picks for each side of the house top, the house roof there. And that's where I'm going to put a swag and then a bow on top. Before I do that, though, I'm going to paint these a pretty sort of lilac pink, because I have a lot of pink ribbon. So I thought it would be easy to match it. I'm just going to speed through these letters here. And you don't really have to, you can put them on some tape if you want, but I just kind of hold them by the edges and I'm able to get a good coat on there. And they dry pretty fast as well. So here's that pink ribbon I was telling you about. I make the awareness shape, scrunch it in the middle. I had to adjust it there. When I'm happy with how it looks, I'll use some of this Dollar Tree twine, and I'll just wrap it around the middle a few times and tie it nice and tight in the back. So now that my bow's ready, I'm going to go ahead and do the swag. I do the leaf for the bottom or the base. And then I'm going to put 2 little flower picks on top. I'm just doing a dry fit there, making sure the swag is going to be big enough. And instead of wiring them together, I'm just going to hot glue them on either side. And I'll do the next one exactly the same. Instead of dovetailing the ribbon, I'm going to just cut it on an angle. I think that looks better on a smaller blank. Then here I'm cutting off a little bit of the edge of the ribbon where the wire is, and then I'm using that to cover the twine. And I just twist it just like a twist tie. And then hot glue that to the top. Why is it it's only when I'm filming that I need another glue stick? Okay, just going to do a dry fit here for the words. I like this shiplap style house shape. It's easier to get things centered. So I dry fit it, and then I make note of where the letters hit the lines, and then hot glue it. And we'll just speed through this as well. A little bit too much glue there, and I just kind of pull it off with my fingernail. It is a little bit hard because these letters are pretty thin. Okay, almost done. Now I decide to come in with my hot glue, my heat gun, get rid of the hot glue and better look at the final reveal. Idea number 2 I call a bless house. What I do is I shop for my stash, not for projects, and I just like buy random house shapes when I see something a little bit different. So this has been my stash for a little while, and I'm going to use it today. I have those cool poinsettias with the buffalo check middles. The bless house came from Dollar Tree. The flowers came from Dollar Tree as well. And the cube came from Dollar Tree. So this is pretty much a Dollar Tree craft. I mixed up some gray acrylic paint and burnt umber acrylic paint until I got a color that was similar to the house shape. Then I used my acrylic paint marker to draw lines on the gray. And then I used the same wipe that I used to put the paint on to smudge the black lines. And the idea is to get it as similar to the house color as possible. And you can also use this method if you have a house that isn't this color, but you like the idea of it being like this, using the same method that I'm showing you here. Now I didn't have a white marker, so I just used a skewer and dipped it in my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. And then I tried to wipe it down in like one motion, like from the top to the bottom. And I did that with all the sides and the bottom. In retrospect, I probably should have left one side blank, but I wasn't too worried about it because it's a pretty light coat paint, so I think it's going to glue okay. But if I was painting, regular painting with chalk paint, I would definitely want to leave one part blank that was being glued. So I thought it would look better with black words, mostly because it says bless this house, but the this word is just on the surface. It's not raised. And I didn't think in white that it looked like it popped enough. So that's why I did everything in black. I'm using the same method on the back of the house because that's going to show. And then you see I left it blank there where we're going to be gluing, just to be on the safe side. And I really like how this turned out. If you didn't have that black marker, you could probably use the skewer in black as well. I'm going to use one of my paintbrushes to paint on the glue. And then I'm going to fill in some spots with hot glue so it sticks right away. And then the wood glue will eventually dry, giving it a good hold. Now I'm trimming these flowers off of the main pick, but I'm keeping them as long as possible because they have to go up pretty high with the house shape in the front there. And I do have to raise up the foam in the cube to get them to show nicely above the house shape. And I'll show you that in just a second. I'm going to fill it in with these. I believe I got these at Dollar Tree just to fill in the little, like a Christmas tree branch. And they're wired, so I just trimmed them. I put a pool noodle on top of the floral foam because I was out of floral foam. But also because the pool noodle is really stiff and it holds the floral picks really well. I was able to get them up nice and high like that. And I'll give you a better look at this during the final reveal. Idea number 3 is a flower house. I am using a Chocolate stencil that I got free in my monthly mailer. And I keep the paste packets. They send you 3 every month with a stencil. But a lot of times I either don't use them at all, or I only use 1 or 2, or only use half a pack. And I save them. I'll show you what I do a little later on to save them for the next use. So I'm cutting off the bottom of this stencil because they have a copyright information, whatever at the bottom. And if you leave it on there, it'll actually, the chalk paste will go on it just like it does the rest of the stencil. So if you don't like chalk couture, or if you think it's too expensive, you can get chalk paste stencils on Amazon. I've gotten them on Temu. You can also search eBay for chalk couture stencils. I actually got a large lot of stencils for quite a discount. So for this one, I actually trimmed it to size because I don't know, it's kind of small and I'm not sure if I will use it again. But if I do, it's still gonna be okay. But I didn't think I would get as good a outcome unless I cut it to size. So you'll notice I cut it off at the part, I believe that's the bottom actually, but I cut at the bottom so I can see the color at the top if I save it for later, which I will be doing with this. I'm going to put down some of this green in the stems and the leafy parts of this floral pattern. I also have this really cool, it's like a maroon, I think it's called wine or something. And I just picked a few random colors. Cut them at the bottom. I'm just going to squeeze them out right on my squeegee. I don't need to squeeze them out into a dish and then waste it. And if I was working with a larger stencil, I would peel it back after each color. But this one is so small, I just try to work fast. The paste that I used for, there's a bee and a butterfly, and the paste that I used was kind of thick, so that didn't transfer as well, but the rest of it looks great. And I'm just going to add a finger bow. I call it finger bow. I just wrap it around my hands, my fingers, like you would a tassel, but instead of tying off the end, I tie it off in the middle. I leave the tails a little long. Excuse me. I'm just going to hot glue it on either side there. And that's pretty much it for this one. So just use your favorite stencil, pop bow on top, brace it up in the back because this house shape is a little flimsy. There's not really a lot of weight to it. So I wanted to stabilize it. I just used 2 tumbling tower blocks. Attach them with some hot glue. And better look at the final reveal.